Hi, my name is Syariena Liew, and I finished my secondary education at SM St. Peter Telipo, and now I'm here in Ktekk. And just yesterday I finished my third semester here. Well, I don't really have specific strategies, but for reading and for writing, I every day I try to enrich myself with vocabularies by using ChatGPT to introduce to myself at least 5 to 10 words of new words to use during writing, and during writing exercises in class or at home, I try to apply those new vocabularies in my essays. And for speaking, I watched a lot of documentaries from YouTube and also TV channels to observe how the guests and reporters and MCs communicate with each other. And of course, we Malaysians use based on British English, so I supply myself with a lot of documents that are from UK, and I cut down on TikTok videos because for TikTok videos I think they use American English. So I heard from my secondary education, my teacher told me that to not use that much American English like gonna and wanna and all that. So I always try to make it a habit to use British English only. Well, for me, the most challenging part for me to prepare for my Muet examinations is because I took STPM science stream, and my subjects are biology, mathematics, chemistry, and don't forget pengajian am. Those subjects are very demanding of my time. So when I was in Sem 1, to be honest, I took Muet very lightly because, well, it's English. It doesn't need many practices. And when I reached the middle of my Sem 2, I realized how important it was. So I drilled myself with a lot of exercises for essay and also reading. And shout out to Madam Umi, because she also always drilled me and my classmates to practice speaking. Like, we have our own personal schedules for this week, for a week. Like, maybe on Monday we do writing, and on Tuesdays we do speaking or writing, like all that. Well, for resources, like I mentioned earlier, I watch a lot of documentaries from YouTube and TV channels. I think to improve language, you just have to listen to a lot of that language. In, like, for example, to watch documentaries, you can hear those people's how they maneuver with their speeches, and how they use those exact vocabularies that you don't have the confidence to use. And from there, you can apply that in real life too. And of course, you have to speak a lot in that language too. Like, for example, me, I speak 3 languages: Chinese, Malaysian, and English. And for Chinese, I always use that language to communicate with my father, because my father is Chinese. And for Malay users, well, we are Malaysians. We use Malay language every day. So I think for English, I use English in Muet class only. On the day of my speaking test, I was nervous. Well, on the night before, I was a bit laid back, and on that day happening, I was actually very nervous. Like, I have no idea what kind of topic will come out. And thankfully, I was in the second session. So on the early morning, I read through many topics, and I practice with my classmates past year's questions, past year Muet speaking tests. And on the day of reading, writing, on the day of reading, writing, and listening for speaking, it was because it was 2 separate days for speaking and listening, reading, and writing. On speaking day, the night before it, I enriched myself with different topics, especially on environment, because my teacher said that for environment, it has been a long time since MPM released any topics, speaking topics about environment. So I tried to enrich myself with knowledge about environment, and on that day, the question was quite a common one. From my memory, I think it was about how our school will celebrate National Day, Malaysian Independence Day. Yes, it was that question. So I tackled that question very well, but the result came out that day. I didn't expect my marks to be below my satisfaction, but I just let it go. Well, it happened. And on writing, listening, and reading day, well, for reading, the questions are quite challenging, especially for the last part. It was very confusing, and the questions, almost every choices on that questions are similar. I think that's where I got marks below my satisfaction level, and thankfully writing saved me because I got 80 out of 90 for that. And also for my listening, it was also below my satisfaction because I was confident that I got almost correct. It was, I guess it is my fate to not get band 5 because I only got band 4.5, but alhamdulillah I made it to make it to the first place. For speaking test, I think I got my confidence also because the candidates that I was going to walk into the examination room that day is also my classmates, and we built quite the chemistry throughout our semesters here. And my teacher also advised us chemistry is very important between the candidates, and I've built the confidence to speak with them. And my advice is, after knowing your candidates, it is important to build chemistry between them, or things will get awkward. Really, I witnessed it firsthand that a few groups that doesn't have chemistry with one another, when they are speaking, it came off unnatural and looked a bit forced. So this will lower your grade. This will lower your marks in, I don't know what it was. I don't know what category it was, but it will lower your marks in speaking. Although you perform very well for your first part, and for the second part in group discussion, it will affect your marks. Yes. It was my bond with my friends, and I'm very grateful to have them as my friends and also my candidates in Muet examination. I think what drove me to continue pursuing science stream is because when I was in elementary school, I have developed love towards science subject, especially those topics that touched about biology and chemistry. So I continued pursuing STPM science stream because I wanted to make my younger self proud. And second, I think that what drove me to continue pursuing science stream too is because I wanted to give my parents a good life, and because they have done so much for me to continue my tertiary education. They have supported me throughout my hardships in studying, and last, I continued this STPM science stream because I haven't decided a solid a solid choice in my future career. But what I know is I wanted to pursue in STEM field. To all my juniors out there in Ktekk, I want you all to toughen yourself up, because this road in STPM will only get tougher and tougher even after you finish your tertiary education here. And do not take Muet lightly like I did in my first semester. You guys can always continue. You guys can throw away old and bad habits. Start this year with a new version of yourself. Be hardworking, work hard, and also work smart. And you guys have to, most importantly, you guys have to know how to manage your time wisely, especially to my STPN science stream juniors. Do not take Muet lightly, although it is English, and because all of your subjects like biology, physics, mathematics, and chemistry are all English, you guys, it's different from those science, DLP science from Muet. And enrich yourself with English vocabularies. And for those who are not very good at Muet, do not give up and enrich yourself with English, because it will be very helpful in the future later. Thank you.